Hello, lovelies.
Hello, beautiful souls.
Welcome, welcome. This is our very first live. I'm hoping we figured it out.
I still don't think my camera's live. It
Okay.
looks like
Yep.
it is, but
Here we go. I
okay.
gotcha.
I got it muted, so we
Yep.
shouldn't have any. All right, that's the ceiling. All right,
See?
it's not.
Technical difficulties. Please hold.
Please stand by. This is what it did earlier too. To have to log it back in after changing its view.
Okay.
It's stuck.
No, I can see your hand.
It's stuck though, isn't it? Let's see.
Yep. I'm going to remove you from the screen though.
Please
That
do.
one.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what it's doing.
Okay, so let's see. Do we have any guests? Hershey, no.
We're not going to worry about that. How about we're just not going to worry about my camera today.
All right.
Yeah, it doesn't want to work right. So we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, anybody?
I'm trying to figure out if we have. How do I see?
You see our YouTube?
We are live. It was on YouTube. Oh, we could do that, couldn't we? Hershey, please don't get into my drink. Thank you.
I may end up vibrating off the chair. This is more coffee than I usually drink in a day. I made a half. I have a mini carafe, a 5-cup. I'm finishing it. I'm done.
So we are live. It is public. And my question is, do we have anybody watching? And I don't think so.
Not yet.
Because we're new
We
to
just
this and we're a small channel. And that is
What do you want to
okay.
talk about?
Well,
I can tell you what I was watching between us setting this all up and coming back live. The judge that was arrested,
yes, in Wisconsin.
and was arraigned today. And Judge, is it Bancroft? Is that her name? Something like that. I'm not very good with remembering names. But the judge in Wisconsin was arraigned today. And the charges against her are a joke. The federal attorneys that are going to prosecute her aren't first or second string and maybe not even third string lawyers. Probably more like fourth string, maybe. And the charges are super, super thin. So, and her primary, she has a whole raft of attorneys representing her, but the lead attorney happens to be a former federal prosecutor under George H.W. Bush. And he is highly, highly respected in all circles and on, especially amongst conservatives. And he's her primary attorney. So yeah, I was watching Brian Taylor Cohen.
Yeah.
And
how about if we do a reading on that and see whether
I have a feeling this whole thing's going to go away because
I think so too.
Those attorneys are going to be referred to bar counseling and possibly face losing their license.
Well,
apparently that's happening to a lot of these really bad lawyers that are flunkies of F-45.
45, yeah.
And they're so poor at their jobs that they're getting bar counseling. Because they aren't good attorneys. And these all work for Pam Bondi. And they're going to run out of flunkies because these folks who are trying to make a name for themselves as attorneys don't want to lose their license to practice. So
let's take a look and see what's going to happen for the
I want to know
trial.
what her name is. I don't think it's going to get that far. I think the charges are going to be dismissed.
Let's take a look.
Bascom? Is that it?
I don't know. I got to look.
Okay. Well, since my phone isn't going to be.
I got it. Hang on.
Yeah, something went wrong. No kidding.
Hannah Dugan.
Hannah Dugan, right. Okay.
Yep.
Judge Dugan. Case. Put it.
Her attorneys are moving to drop those federal charges.
Yes.
Good for them. All right, let's look
she entered a not guilty plea.
This.
And the aiding an undocumented immigrant's escape and something else.
Do you mind if I share my screen?
Obstructing justice. She sent these ICE agents to the Chief Justice's office to get a magistrate warrant or prove they've got credentials in her courtroom to come and arrest this person, because they did not show her a warrant and she needed a judicial warrant in order to do anything. And then she just simply told the attorney at the conclusion of whatever procedure they were going through to leave by a jury door. It puts him out in the same hallway, but it's just a different door out of the courtroom. And those are what she's accused of, having obstructed justice and aiding this undocumented person's escape.
Okay, well, let's do a reading and see what this is going to turn out as. I'm sharing my screen so that you can see the federal grand jury indicts Milwaukee judge accused of obstructing immigration and immigrant agents. There we go. Immigration agents.
Immigration agents, yes.
All right. So let me come back.
Cross by judgment, yeah.
Unshare. There we go. Back to us. So
yeah, she's going to defend herself quite well.
Yeah. Wow. They are going to lose their behinds.
Yeah.
Her attorneys are going to wipe the floor with them. In the heart of mine, I have the Four of Wands reversed.
I have a lot of wands, yeah.
Yeah, there's wands are fire cards. There's a lot of energy around this.
I have Four of Wands reversed as well.
Yep. Crossed. How about if I go through mine first? Do you mind? Thanks. Crossed by the Four of Cups reversed, and her judges are taking a very strong. Her attorneys are taking a very strong approach to this. The U.S. attorneys who are coming after her, they're bad. They're really bad. And they're missing the point. The Four of Cups in the upright, this person is focused on the cups, so they're looking only at what they have, not the possibilities. But when you turn this upside down, they're missing all of it. Those cups are in a position where they're emptied out, and the possibilities are vacant as well. So the U.S. attorneys prosecuting her on this, or attempting to prosecute her on this, they're got a hard road ahead of them. The base of the reading, the foundation of the reading, is the King of Pentacles in reverse. And Pentacles are financial and physical health. They are this entire situation is all about, the DOJ's, the current DOJ's inability to tell the felon in the White House no. It is that authoritarian foundation. It's that mindset. Passing away is the star in reverse, and there's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of, on her behalf, there's a lot of doubt. On their behalf, they're going to be very disappointed. But she's very angry, and rightfully so. At the overarching energy is the three of swords reversed. Here we have optimism. Optimism, the knowledge that they have a very strong case and can easily prove so. Coming to bear is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. This is this is the U.S. lawyers. They're going to,
Get their butts
as
into them.
as you were saying earlier, Jane, they're going to be struggling professionally once this trial is done.
Yeah.
But also, they want the quick lift into notoriety without the work, without the years of practice that it takes to be a good lawyer. And everything touches dies, ETTD. The column internally, we have the King of Cups as that internal force for the lawyer, for Judge Dugan, and her team are very smart. They're very crafty. They are bringing the goods to the table. Let's put it that way. Externally is the world, and that these are the U.S. attorneys attempting to indict her and prosecute her. They have, with the world, it is 1 foot in one realm, 1 foot in another. They are currently attempting to move up in their little world, and it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. For Judge Dugan's attorneys, they have it. Hopes and fears, the Five of Swords, the fears that they're going to lose, that somebody's going to steal away their glory. And I think that is either side. I think that's the case for either side. And then the final outcome is the Emperor. And the Emperor is somebody who is very ambitious, very capable, very structured, strategic, actions with precision. So, do you have yours laid out?
I do. I just want to say I believe that's Judge Ho. He's the one who's going to be handling the case, or he's going to be overseeing this. He's the judge.
All right.
This is being presented to.
All right. You go ahead and present yours. I'm going to go on mute.
Okay. You know me. I have such a hard time not chipping in my 2 cents, right? For the current environment for Judge Dugan, this is a time of concern for her. She's been arraigned in front of a jury. She's been indicted, or she's been arraigned in a federal court. She's been indicted by a grand jury who I doubt had the whole information. And so she's concerned about losing her job. She's concerned about losing her freedom. Of course she is. Crossed, of course, by judgment. This is a legal situation, but judgment is a leveler. If you'll notice, all present, everyone dies, everyone is judged. It's what is coming to her, to the federal prosecutor's judgment. What she reaches for, the best that can be hoped for, in my opinion, this is what's going on in the minds of the federal prosecutors, that they're going to lose, and they're going to lose to the point that they will lose their careers. What they have to draw upon is the Eight of Cups reversed. If I was them, I would also be walking away quickly. An influence passing away. This is the judge. She knows her stuff. She knows the legal basis of how a courtroom is run. She ran her courtroom that day according to the law. Coming to bear. These are, once again, the federal prosecutors. This is the Page of Cups reversed. They are weak. They are in a very shaky legal position. I can't see anything good coming for them. As the situation rises, this is the judge and her legal representation. They've got it in spades, or in this case, in pens. The lead attorney, all of her attorneys are highly professional people. They know what they're doing. Environment throughout this is, of course, the material world. This is where Felon 45 lives. He is so rolling in the physical, in the money, in the corruption, that he doesn't care who he hurts. So that is the school under which this prosecution is being brought forward. Think of the head of the DOJ is Pam Bondi, former, if she isn't still currently, a legal lobbyist for the country of Qatar. So also a lady who had to step down from her position in Florida as the AG there because she was caught with her hands doing something she shouldn't have been. Hope or fears. This is the fears of the attorneys. They're going to lose it all. They're going to lose their careers. They're going to burn up. They are going to be judged, not just legally, but in the court of public opinion. And their immediate outcome is, oops, but we're trying real hard. We really are. Ultimately, though, what I see, it goes from the initial skirmish in court, which was today. She has asked to have the charges dismissed. I don't know if Judge Ho will do that. And if he does, if it'll get appealed. But I see in that entire situation, there's no good decision for the federal prosecutors. There's no good position they can take. On the other hand, Judge Dugan will school them in how this works. She is a defendant and she is a judge. She is surrounded by positive lawyers who know their business. She's going to take these third-rate lawyers and she's going to teach them. This is how American jurisprudence runs. Hope or fears? For both. This is reversed, unfortunately. The Eight of Wands is the decision. And the decision holds peril for both sides. But the decision itself is based on American jurisprudence. And the federal attorneys who brought these spurious charges are going to lose them. And Judge Dugan will return to her courtroom exonerated and being applauded. I believe it's open and shut. That's my opinion. That's what I read coming out of this. It's going to take some time. This isn't, the law does not move quickly, no matter whose case it is. It seems like it's always taking more time than you expect it to. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be fun to watch. If you're a fan of Felon 45, I suggest you not look too closely. If, however, like myself, you are a fan of Judge Dugan, start the popcorn. I'm done, Lynn. Come back.
All right. I'm going to do one quick test here.
Gonna pull in,
Okay.
pull one of your oracle cards for Judge.
Oh, I can, sure.
Yeah, let's see what her
You-
future holds. I would
Yeah.
like to know.
Betcha.
Yeah, I want to know how she is going to spank these folks.
You want to
I
know
know
what?
for her, I know she's not going to take action. She's not going to sue the DOJ. You can't really sue the DOJ, but
Sure you can.
she can simply return to her courtroom and go about business as usual. And to me, that would be an excellent outcome, and probably what she would do because she's a professional. But if there's something she can teach these chokers, I'd sure like them to hear from her. I would like to see these masked and unidentified agents that are committing raids across the country brought to justice.
Right.
There's a
Me
case in
too.
Arizona that's, I believe, Arizona or New Mexico. A mother and daughter were awakened in the middle of the night by all these masked, armed, unidentified people, broke into their house, tossed outside in a cold rain. Their home was ransacked. Their cash was stolen. Their electronics were taken. They weren't given a receipt. They refused to identify themselves. No badge numbers, nothing. I don't know who they were looking for, but these are American citizens.
Yeah. Let's focus back on Judge Dugan
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what, remind me again your question.
I'd like to know what lesson she will leave the DOJ with, because I believe firmly she's going to win this case in a cakewalk, and she'll probably quietly return to her courtroom. But I would hope that there's a lesson in it for others who want to be flunkies of the felon. I want to know what kind of consequences are these
Right.
not ready for prime time attorneys going to get.
Okay, let me. I am using the. Yes, I am. Here we go. Trish James predictions deck. I said the other day in a video that I said, because I used her cards for the entire set of readings that I did.
Mhm.
And I said, am I a mega fan? No, I'm not a mega fan.
Yes, you are.
Not necessarily. I just happen to admire her work and I connect really well with cards. And they've always been really incredible reading for me. And then I realized, you know what? I am a mega fan because I go to her website looking for new cards all the time and I watch all of her videos and
Mhm.
okay. Count me in. Let's take a look at these two. Oh,
I'm in the audience, by the way.
you're in the
I have
audience?
logged into YouTube to see what we
Oh,
do.
good. Thanks.
4 views.
Excellent. Do we have any guests here with us? I can't tell from our view, I can't see. So if you have a comment or a question, put it in the chat. We'd be glad to read on the topic that you're interested in learning more about. Oh my goodness. Okay. The song I Fought the Law and the Law Won is running through my head right now.
Yep,
But when the law fights the law,
that's an interesting thing.
it sure is. She is fighting for the greater good. She is fighting for truth.
Justice and the American. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. She is fighting against the politicians who are holding power and who are compromised and harmful. But she feels like this is a heavy burden.
Of course it is. I'm sure she's stressed.
Yeah. So let
I
me
would
see
be.
what I would be. Oh my gosh, would I ever be? Yep. Let me take a look at this deck. And this deck is also Trish James. I know you're surprised. And this is the personal predictions oracles. Let's see what's in here for Judge Dugan and how things are going to turn out for her. You know what I find really, ooh, she will be transformed and have new personal growth. Um, but she's feeling like this is a really slow pace.
Yeah, I get that.
There's a great deal of discontent and a huge feeling of loss for her.
Oh, I'm sure.
And yet there are unexpected surprises. Ultimately, I think her life will be better for this, but it's not going to be easy. Luck is on her side.
I think we're just us right now.
Yeah. And this is a cycle. I My understanding and beliefs about the life path that we have is, and I've had this belief for, oh my gosh, many years, um, is that we choose our life path. Now, a lot of content creators here on YouTube are talking about this a lot more.
Life path?
Yeah, life contract, life path. You When I was in my teens, early 20s, I had started feeling like we choose our parents, we choose the things that we are here to encounter and lessons that we're here to learn.
Oh, I remember that conversation.
You are right. Conversations, because there were many.
Yes.
Um, but there was, it's like we come into this from the spirit side, knowing how that book ends, what each page contains. But while we're here, we don't. And so things come up that are a surprise to us as humans. Our spirit understands what this is going to be, but our human side, our human brains, doesn't have a clue. And so I think about what her choices were on the spirit side that puts her in this position,
Wow. I wouldn't have
right?
wanted to choose it. But
Huh?
then again, there's things I've encountered that in my life that I really wish hadn't come my way.
Correct.
So
Ultimately, she's going to end this with a clear mind and a sense of peace.
yes,
And I
she
am
knows
so
she did.
glad for her.
She knows
What?
she did right. She knows she followed the law and did what was right,
Yep.
and that she did not violate federal standards.
I firmly suspect that she's going to write a book, and
Maybe
it's going
later.
to, really, it depends on if she returns to the bench. If she
Why would
returns, if
why
she
would
after this, she may not. She may not want to be a judge under the current administration or regime, however you wish to put it.
she's not a federal judge.
Nope. But they came after her nonetheless, didn't they?
Yeah.
So she is clearly a threat to them, and they will not leave her alone while the felon is in the office.
Honestly, I believe this isn't about her personally. It's about threatening all judges.
Yep.
And I believe there will be other judges that will be arrested and charged.
Yep. I
And
agree.
depending on how this case goes, and they'll try and sharpen that target in on them to get one successful prosecution would be pretty much all it takes to chill the to chill judges across the country into going along. And
Submission.
that's how a regime takes over.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be, we want to act without impunity. Therefore, you judges, you are in our way. We are going to prosecute you. We are going to do everything we can to disempower you so that you do what we tell you. And that's what this is about. This is not personal,
Right.
even though she's feeling it very personally because they came into her courtroom.
Right? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't
Right.
she take that as a personal? Okay, I've got some other topics that I pulled up.
Okay.
Since we are talking about judges, I've got a few here with the Supreme Court. We have Chief Justice Roberts reins in Sotomayor during birthright citizenship arguments.
Today.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor interrupted U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer during argument over birthright citizenship and nationwide court injunctions on Thursday, prompting Chief Justice Roberts to intervene. And I don't have a full story on that available because it is live.
Yes, it's ongoing right now.
Yep.
These are arguments about why judges do or do not have the ability to put in a nationwide injunction, despite the fact they've been doing it for decades and years and millennium, decades. The Trump administration is attempting to remove that ability from judges, to rule it unconstitutional. And it's another step in the authoritarian playbook to rein in the judges and make them biddable.
Shall we read on that?
Before we do that, have you sent out a notice saying, hey, followers, we're live now?
I put a notification up an hour ago that we were going live today and the times again.
Okay.
So yeah.
You posted that on YouTube.
Mhm.
Did you send an email message out to our followers about it?
No, because I don't have their emails. Not doing that.
I thought if they were subscribed.
It would go to their YouTube accounts.
Okay.
Can we not talk about that during this?
Sure. Just curious.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
All
So
right.
you want to read about birthright citizenship?
Yep. I'm going to let you
Oh, I'm
start
sorry,
this.
not birthright citizenship, but the ability of judges to do nationwide injunctions. That's what this argument today is about. Not about
Yep.
birth. There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to mute and stop my camera while you're doing your thing for a moment.
Okay.
I need to grab some cards.
Okay, I'm using a slightly different writer deck. It's a gold deck. I want to get some sunshine in on this one. Authoritarian playbooks bother me, and the fact we have a felon occupying the Oval Office, as you all know, bothers me greatly. So let's take a look at if a federal judge, any judge can implement a nationwide injunction. Is that constitutional or not? So, yeah, chaos, no kidding. All right, as my cards play out here, what I have for the initial reading, this is our significator. This is a gold foiled card. This is the 4 of pentagrams. He is upright. Now, he is in control. He is solidly where he is. This is our judicial system as the defendant. Crossed by, straight up, the Ace of Cups. And this is the power of our judicial system as it stands now. What the federal attorney, what the attorneys arguing in front of the Supreme Court want to do is upend our system that has been in place for so long that a court in this country can order a nationwide injunction. The outcome of that, what they reach for, would give it would unleash the forces of chaos across the judicial system. So here we are. The base foundation is waiting to see all this play out. I don't think we're going to wait as long as we'd like, as we fear, because this is reversed. So this is, I think, let me stop with my ums and ahs and stutters by saying it's not going to pause as long as we think. The felons administration hopes the longer this takes, the more he can get away with. His abilities passing away. This is the felon again. All the choices, all the corruption, all the things he wants to do and say and take, passing away. Coming to bear. The Two of Pence. How on earth is he going to get away with all this? This is him trying to juggle the law with his greed, with his abilities to upend the systems as we know. This unbalance is coming into our lives. I think we all know that. We've been seeing it daily. The airplane and cutter is a great example of that. Us, the US, our legal system, it's a strong system. It's a fair system, as fair as we can get it. Yes, there are plenty of issues that need fixed, but strength in our legal system is one of the hallmarks of a democracy, is that we have a set legal system. It is not one for thee and one for me, even though, well, we won't go there. The environment that surrounds our legal system, it has been a model for countries worldwide. It is a cause to celebrate. That we have a Supreme Court that is independent of the executive is something important. Hope or fear of the future? Well, we hope for justice. The felon wants to upend our legal system, plain and simple. It's going to be a lot harder than he thinks it is. I believe it's going to burn him up in the process because he has lost probably 19 out of 20 court cases this year, as each one comes in on the merits with such poor legal representation. These third and fourth stringers that are yes men and yes women to Pam Bondi and the felon in the White House. I believe that upending our legal system is going to be much, much harder than he thinks. Which brings us to, how are we going to go about that? Because it's a really strong structure. But this says, I want it changed. I want to dump it. I want it to answer only to the executive. What decisions do I have to make in order to get my way? Who do I have to bribe? Yes, I'm going to say bribe. Because honestly, when all is said and done, it's going to come down to what our Supreme Court says. Will our Supreme Court hold the line? We already know there's 2 members of the Supreme Court that are willing to not. But John Roberts is concerned. Once again, the future. The star reversed. These are weak people. These are fragile people with egos. They are not standing on solid ground. They are standing on a dictator. That's what they put their hopes on. This dictator getting away with it. I say no. There's going to be some faults. There's going to be things dropping out. We are going to lose some things. But in the end, it is my firm belief. I randomly picked. My firm belief that it all holds. That ultimately, our system of justice is stronger. It's a living system. it can flex, it can grow, and we can change it. One person can make a difference. One person cannot upend the whole thing, but one person or a country united can get through this. So everybody, support your representatives, get your messages to them. If you disagree with them, tell them, and tell them why. Tell them support the rule of law. That's my cards. And yes, this is a different deck. This is called, where'd my box go? This is called Gold Foil Tarot. It is a foiled edition of a simple Rider-Waite deck. So I'm not even sure who produced it, but they're really interesting cards, and they're beautiful. The backs of them are my favorite. There, if you can see that, it's very intricate.
Very pretty.
And very, yeah.
So
It brings the images to life. So
I pulled a few cards.
Let me get off,
Okay.
please. Please, and thank you. Go.
Nope, I can still hear you, ma'am. No, now you're good. Okay. So this case is a disaster, a wreckage, also known as fail, #fail. They're trying to race against the clock. They're feeling that everything is urgent, that they are struggling to get this done because they suspect something big is coming, and so do I. They're all supposedly big city lawyers, and yet they are they're a sinking ship. It's a sad, sad case. Like, they want to be taken seriously. There is nothing about this case that is serious. And so many people are trying to argue for it instead of against it. And it's not going to work. It is not going to work. There will be some shakeups, but there's also evidence of big scandals in this whole situation. It is going to get ugly before it gets better. But I feel like this could very well be overturned rapidly if anything goes through with it, which let me pause for a moment here and go into that energy. Chief Justice Roberts is really angry that this case has even come to his courtroom. I am seeing him behind closed doors, cussing a blue streak. It is he has a great he's holding in a great deal of disgust, allegedly, for the felon in the White House. And I can hardly wait to hear what the final outcome on this is and what his response to that outcome is. So, okay, those are my cards from the predictions deck.
I was looking up the basis for nationwide injunctions, and it's been a cornerstone of policy separating judicial from executive. But since the advent of extremism into our government, it has become more and more complicated and more controversial because the extremists believe the executive should be able to override, depending, of course, on who that executive is, should be able to override those injunctions.
Right.
They didn't want President Biden to be able to do that.
Right.
But they do want Felon 45 to be able to do it,
Right.
which is so incredibly hypocritical.
Yeah.
Either the executive reigns or the judicial reigns. It cannot be based on party. It cannot be based on individuals.
Right.
That's not how our legal system is supposed to work. So, sorry, I'll be quiet. There's a good article on it at the Harvard Law Review. So.
If you have the link to that, will you email it to me?
Sure.
And then I'll put it in the more section below this after we're done.
Sure, no problem.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. And that is, what's the real purpose of the felon's visit to the Middle East? Because I'm thinking it's not just an airplane, folks.
Well, it's part of it, but he wanted to get away from what's going on here, too. There was a mass protest yesterday. People with disabilities. There's the budget reconciliation that's going on right now. Yesterday, multiple persons with disabilities in wheelchairs were arrested at the Capitol building for interrupting the business of Congress to protest cuts to Medicaid. And the Medicaid that he swore he'd never cut, what is it? 800.
You want to cut 800? Is it $800 billion they want to cut from it?
Yep. And this is all about making his tax cuts from the first term permanent and increasing the ones for billionaires and millionaires.
Yep.
And making them permanent as well.
Let's.
That's what's going on. You want it out of here.
To Medicare and
Medicaid. This is specific.
I know it's specific. I know it's specific to Medicaid. So I'm going to put that in the chat and see if we have time to get to it. We will. So here's the thing. I believe some of those cuts to Medicaid are going to go through. It is going to be rocky if they do. I suspect we're going to see a number of doctors who no longer accept patients who have Medicare, Medicaid insurance. Because if you accept patients with Medicare, you're required to accept patients who have Medicaid. So they cannot say, oh, I'll take this half, but I won't take that half. They must take them all. And so that is going to limit the number of doctors Medicare, Medicaid patients have access to, along with the procedures. That said, if this does go through, if those cuts are made, this is our first really strong opening into having universal health care. I'm a firm believer that out of every dark, difficult moment, there is a silver lining. Something good can come out of this.
You think this will finally open that box up to allow our country to join the real world?
Yep, I do. But, and in our country, because there are so many people who work for insurance companies, they're all like, what happens to the insurance industry? Nothing. Not
much.
Private
insurance will still be available.
Well, private insurance will still be available. Policies are, it's like what we see with people who have Medicare. They have the option of purchasing the add-on plan that, covers that gap, if you will. Gap coverage, I think is what it's called.
Gap insurance is different than like the Medicare Advantage plans.
Okay.
Those are actually versions of, that's simply privatized Medicare.
Okay.
That is not Medicare itself. It's privatized health
Right.
insurance, which is where the confusion comes in, because politicians like to point to the fact that people buy these Medicare Advantage plans, meaning they want privatized Medicare. Most of them don't realize that's what they've done. They have fallen for the hooks of the extra benefits that
Well,
expire,
and
that have limits.
the information around it is so complicated,
Yeah.
deliberately complicated.
Yes.
Make no mistake, all the applications, all the websites, all the information available to the general public, it is deliberately complicated to keep people off
It's
those programs.
in a former life, I was a, um, how do you call that? Procedural and diagnostic coder for medical data entry at a hospital. That the hospital no longer exists, and what I know is ancient history. But I was sent to a Medicare training for billing and coding. In order to get Medicare to pay for things, you have to have the appropriate diagnostic codes. So they want you to use extra codes to get Medicare to cover these procedures. And we were told at that training that the language was deliberately confusing for everyone in order to minimize what Medicare is expected to pay for. It's a deliberate form of obfuscation and lying, let's say it, to the public to limit the bill Medicaid, Medicare have to pay for. And it's wrong on so many levels, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
Medicare is not an entitlement. It
Yeah.
is something we've paid for. You
What
pay
we pay
in,
for, right?
you
Yep.
pay in with your taxes, you pay in through your earnings, your employer pays in through the nose, and yet we're being told by politicians
People
that
in the
entitlement. Bull crap.
so
Bull crap.
so if we end up shifting to a universal health care,
Please.
right? The insurance industry, like all the people working in the insurance industry, those who are most at risk in that industry for layoff or their positions being eliminated are the
Mhm.
people at the top of the chain, the CEOs.
Who are getting 300% more than the people doing the work. Right.
I know it's more like thousands
Okay. So maybe I'm conservative.
percentages more than the people, like a lot of the people doing the work in the insurance industry. The average worker bee is making anywhere between 30,000 and 100,000. CEOs are making minimum 25 and up to $400 million a year, plus bonuses, plus stock option, plus all the perks and benefits and
The business vehicles, the private jets, the this, that,
right.
and the other thing.
Yeah.
All for what? The figurehead? For
Yep.
setting the direction? For
Yeah.
bigger profits from the board? And
Yeah.
bigger profits means they pay out less,
Yeah.
which means that we who pay higher premiums get less coverage.
Mm-hmm. And, everybody, I can remember growing up and people being so angry that medical doctors um, made a lot of money.
Mhm.
And hmm, no, they don't. So on paper, they look like they make a good amount of money. If a medical doctor is making 250 to $500,000 a year, that is a lot of money. But then you have to look at the cost of malpractice insurance.
Which is huge.
It is, oh my God, it will nauseate you to think about how much medical doctors pay for health insurance or for malpractice
Malpractice.
insurance. And their type of practice also,
Dictates how much it costs.
yes, like OB-GYN, their malpractice insurance easily
It's huge.
$200,000 a year.
Yep. Because a
And I could
mistake,
be underestimating it.
I think you are, because um, the consequences of a major mistake by an OBGYN can be lethal for
Mhm.
baby and mother.
Yep.
Um,
And then, for a medical doctor in any other, it doesn't matter if it's a family practitioner, it doesn't matter if it is a specialist, it doesn't make a difference. Their malpractice insurance, depending on their method of practice, their focus of practice, it's outrageous. And if they're working in a hospital system, that hospital system usually picks up that bill.
so
And
the
then
hospital's
it's,
paying a huge amount of money for malpractice.
yes. And then that is passed on to us in the bill we get and the insurance companies get. But then there's also the student loans that most doctors have to take out. There's also
Six
the
figures,
years and years and years of education that they get.
12 at least,
Um,
depending on
for
the
the
specialty,
base,
go higher.
yeah, for the basic MD, it is a 7-year education. That's the basic.
8.
8?
4 years in 4 years undergrad to get their bachelor's,
Mm-hmm.
4 years in medical school.
Okay.
It'd have to be, well, I'm sure they can do it in 7 if they really cram, but then they have to do practicals, they have to do internships.
I didn't say residency
But
residency wasn't part of that. I'm just talking education
yeah, just
only.
in school
And
alone,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe it's 8 years.
And then they do residency, and then they do, if they want to specialize, they do another
Anywhere
2,
from
5, 10 more
3 to 10
years of
years. Yeah.
education. Yeah.
And if
So
you're
it just,
a woman who is in the prime of your reproductive life and you're going through medical school, you want to have your children while you're young and healthy, while you've got the energy, all of those complications that can derail your career. And if you put it off, what are the consequences of that? Those consequences don't seem to exist for the men.
Mhm.
But this is off topic. We're
Well,
talking
is it
about
ever?
the proposed cuts to Medicaid,
Yes, we are. So
and they're
let's
huge. And I
low.
understand
Hello.
Medicaid, how a country teaches, cares for its most vulnerable, speaks volumes about that country. So, yeah.
Let me take a look here. I am using the Starlit Garden Tarot deck. My tarot readings for the Celtic Cross long-term
They're
readings
different than
is a
mine.
little different. It's an unusual layout. So let me see if I can't. Oh, I'm getting stuff off the screen here. Hang on.
Lynn, while you
Yes.
set that up, I am going to go AFK for just a few minutes.
Okay.
I will be back.
All right.
AFK away from keyboard.
I got that. I understood. All right, so this is very interesting. At the heart of the matter, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, lack of care about our health. Lack of care about our health. I don't know if that. And it's crossed by the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And the upright, it is the joy of life, the abundance of life. In the reverse, they feel like they're paying too much money for Medicare, Medicaid. The US government is. Actually, technically, it is the representatives for us in the US government. They are looking at our money that they want to use it someplace else. And it's our money. We put it in. And they seem to be forgetting that. At the base, the foundation of everything is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Um, so in this reading, my question was, what's going to happen with the Medicare, Medicaid? And as I said earlier, I felt like we're going to see some cuts to Medicaid, and this is that is their goal. They want to cut Medicaid. They want the wheel to turn in their favor and out of our favor, our being John Q. Public. Um, Passing away is the tower, which actually, like, we are currently in the midst of feeling like it is tower energy. So this feels like to me that it is currently on the docket and that we will have, well, it doesn't feel like, I know it is, sorry. The budget is in the process right now. And they are, it's causing a great deal of chaos and worry. Um, and what cracks me up is that this tower has all kinds of beauty in it. There's flowers and bubbles, and it looks like a Disneyland, doesn't it? Looks like that's Disneyland. Um, Again, out of every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So the overarching energy is the devil. It's all about money. It is all about money. Coming to bear is the Four of Swords. Somebody's going to make them think about it. Internally is the Page of Swords. Excuse me. There's a lot of strategy going into their thoughts behind wanting to end Medicaid. And Medicaid and Medicare are currently managed by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. I'm wondering if they're not going to split that agency up. I have no idea where that came from. Consider it yet another download. The last 24 hours, whew, have been interesting. Let me just say, lots of woo-woo moments occurring. Externally is the Five of Swords. This is us. The Five of Swords upright is somebody who is fighting and has won the good fight. We are feeling like we're fighting, we're rowing upstream, and we're not getting anywhere. Hopes and fears is the Empress in reverse. And this card is somebody who, the energy behind the Empress is in reverse is the I'm getting a feel for what the card wants me to convey. The fears that we're going to come up empty. This is our fear. Their fear is that we're going to catch them. So I started to say earlier, my Celtic cross is a bit modified. Instead of going from bottom to top, I go top to bottom, internal, external, hopes and fears, outcome. And then I do 3 columns, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months. So this first column here is the 0 to 3 months. The Queen of Swords is somebody who's going to stop them. Like, they're going to say, no, this cannot be. And that could be us. We could be the Queen of Swords. We have to speak up. We have to show up to those town halls, whether that be with our own representatives or contacting their offices through their website, their web pages, or calling or showing up for protests. It doesn't matter. We are the Queen of Swords. We have to rescue ourselves. Nobody's going to come and do that for us. And I've said that for a long time. Okay, let me scoot some things over so you can see the 3 columns. And then in the 3 to 6 month row, at the top internally, we have the King of Swords. This person is very strategic, very action-minded, very careful about what they do. Next, we have the 9 of Cups in reverse. In the upright position, this is somebody who's very happy family. In the reverse, it feels like things are broken, like we need therapy. And boy, since COVID and the felon's first time in the office, I don't think a lot of people have recovered mentally from COVID. Hopes and fears of the in the 3 to 6 month row is the 2 of Swords reverse. In the upright position, we want to have choices. In the reverse is the lack of choices, being told how it's going to be, like it or not, suck it up, buttercup. And that is our fear. At the base, the outcome in the 3 to 6 month is the 6 of Cups reversed. This is the generational happiness, the offspring, the next generation. How's the next generation going to handle this? And with it being in the reverse, it's going to be rocky for a while. Keep moving things around. Keep moving. Oh my gosh, my age is showing. In my head, I have a song. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. In this 6 to 12 months, at the top of the row is the 2 of Wands reversed. In the upright position, I am struggling with my positions lately. Anyway, the 2 of Wands in the upright position is choices and action, and they're quick choices. In the reverse position, see? Now I'm really noticing it. It is like those decisions are stalled and things aren't coming together. Externally is the moon, and that we're not getting the whole story. They're lying to us, they're hiding things, they're painting a pretty picture, but it's not the whole picture. They're going to try and manipulate us with information. It is not the whole picture. Don't trust what they're saying. They are lying. Hopes and fears is the Ace of Swords. And this is again in the 6 to 12 month position column. We want action. We want action in our favor. We want action quickly. However, the outcome in the 6 to 12 month is death. So that means change. Death doesn't always mean the end of things, but death does mean change. And change can be really hard for people. And especially when you think about the people who have Medicare and Medicaid, they are the most vulnerable people in our country. And to do this to them is abject cruelty. It is beyond cruel. Let me pull out a few more cards. So we have the Star in reverse. We have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse and the 4 of Wands in reverse. So this is in a year, I would say, or a year to 2 years out. And that tells me that things are going to look ugly for at least 2 years if this goes through. And it's leaning towards it's going through. 2 to 4 years, we have Page of Cups in reverse, Strength, Queen of Wands. Page of Cups in reverse is in the internal. Strength is the external, that's us. Queen of Wands is the hopes and fears. So we want somebody who has the compassion and yet the knowledge and the ability. And then we have the Ace of Wands. And so that is, so 2 to 4 years, 2 to 4 years, that's when things turn around. Then we have King of Pentacles in the internal, Eight of Pentacles external, Seven of Swords. Ooh, and the hopes and fears. That's interesting. Our fear is that they're going to try and thief more away from us. And then the Knight of Swords as the outcome. And I'm going to put that 5-ish years. So Knight of Swords, for me, the Knight of Swords represents somebody who is a strategic fighter, somebody who is going to get the job done no matter what.
Change is slow to the healthcare industry.
Sure is. And it's slow often in the government as well.
Slower.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to call that this reading. And overarching, I'm going to say that the Wheel of Fortune is not going to fall in our favor.
Not this time.
The rat bastard devil is at the top of the whole thing. It's going to take a good 5 years to overcome this, but there will be a lot of strategy behind it. And we are our own strength. We are the ones who have to be our own saviors. Nobody else is going to come save us.
We have to stand up. We have to
Yep.
be heard. And the people who are voting for these changes in the halls of Congress must answer for it.
Yep. I have to say, I've been watching different town hall meetings
Me too.
from across the country, and I'm particularly interested in Grassley because he's been in Congress. He's been a senator for I'm not sure if he's been there the longest now, but he's certainly up there.
1980.
No, I believe it was 1974. 1974, I think he went in. Nope.
Not Washington.
No?
He was running for Congress in 1978 or 79 because he and his opponent came to address our advanced politics class.
Okay.
I was in an independent study of American politics my senior year in high
1981.
school.
1981. Yep.
Okay, so he was just in the running at that point. Him and Jim
Leach.
Yep, I liked Jim Leach a lot. Jim Leach looked you in the eye and answered your questions. Mr. Grassley looked past you and didn't. And who did Iowa send?
Technically, both of them eventually.
but Grassley's still there with you spending your paycheck on loose women and liquor and movie houses, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, so what I have to say, I've caught a few of the town halls that he's held recently, and people are holding his feet to the fire. His responses to their questions has been borderline obnoxious. Very,
once again,
yeah,
walk
very
around the answer.
Yep. Reminds me of the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, where the governor's song,
Ooh, I want to see.
sing a
Dance,
little
little
sidestep.
sidestep. Now you see me, now you don't. I've come and gone. Yeah.
That's the one. Yep.
Yep.
Um,
That's him.
very him and all the others at this point. At this point, it is. So anyway, but I've been impressed to see people stand up and say, the one video that I caught, I think it's the one that you sent to me, of a woman who had worked on his campaign in the 70s, who had voted for him all her life, and who was a librarian, I believe, and she felt very,
Betrayed.
yes, very betrayed, because now libraries are under attack, Social Security is under attack. And she said, I have fought for you and your position all my life, and yet here you are leaving me and everybody else in this room high and dry.
Yep.
Not, I'm summarizing, I don't know her words to be.
She felt abandoned. She thought
Huh?
that
Yeah.
everything they believed the Republican Party represented is gone, and they feel abandoned because these are largely Republican audiences coming to Grassley, because I think the Democrats and independents know they're not going to get anywhere. But the Republicans who voted Republican all these years are outraged because this is not what they expect from their leadership.
Right.
Speaking of leadership and being too old and needing change, the Democratic Party. Do you know who David Hogg is? H-O-G-G?
Yeah.
He was, or is maybe was, on a committee at the DNC. They have voted to remove him from committee, quote, on procedural grounds, end quote. The reality is he refused to toe the party line when it came to leaving someone in place who was simply too old.
So yeah, he wants the older
Change. He wants change.
he wants the older big money Democratic folks to
To step aside.
step aside and let younger, fresh folks to come
Hungry
in and
ones.
lead the country. And I'm telling you what, I would love to see our 20 to 30 to 50 to 40-year-olds get into office and lead this country,
Yep.
because they know where we need to go, and they are concerned with their next generations.
They worry about us, but at the same time, they know we're aging out. And they worry about their parents and grandparents.
Mhm.
And they have the energy, the youth, the technology, the technological know-how, the communication ability.
Yeah.
Let them. We need to step aside and let them.
Yep.
Someone else who needs to be allowed to lead. Pete Buttigieg. I never do say his name right. Mayor Pete.
Judge.
He was
Buttigieg.
in. He was Buttigieg.
Boot.
Yes,
Boot.
Buttigieg.
Boot. A judge.
Buttigieg.
Yes.
He was
Buttigieg.
in Iowa yesterday or the day before. Stop, Sushi. My boys. Lovely. And oh my goodness, I think he's going to be running in the next
For president.
presidential election. I think he's going to be running for the nomination. I, for one, would vote for him. Enough.
100%. All right. I want to move on. I have one quick question that I want to cover, and that is, why is Justin Bieber struggling right now? He was in Diddy's care when he was a teenager. What does he know? Because I firmly suspect that is part of the issue.
I'm not a believer.
You're not a believer?
No, I am not.
You're not a believer? I didn't say I was a believer, but
That's what
I think that his mental struggles.
I don't care. I'm going to be frank. I'm 64. I do not care. This kid got too famous too fast. Everything was given to him, including drugs and fame, and it went straight to his brain, if he has one.
Well, and it was.
I don't care.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry. I have to mute real quick.
Yep. It was pop culture, so and that is for me, I do care about Justin Bieber in terms of the fact that he was allegedly, and in my opinion, victimized by Diddy. And that bothers me because if he was victimized by Diddy, I suspect I know how he was victimized by Diddy. And
I don't care
that
about
was
Diddy either. I hope if what they've said about him is true, throw him in prison and throw away the key. But he is entitled to his defense.
yep.
And
Yep. My husband just got home. I don't know if you heard my dog chortle.
is Bieber even in the U.S. or is he in Canada?
No, I think he's in Canada. I don't know. Did you hear my dog chortle?
No, mine were too loud, and Allison's phone was ringing. So, my daughter.
Yeah.
That's who Allison is, in case you wondered. You okay?
Yeah, I have no idea how to call.
Hey, do you need to mute?
I think it will.
Okay. So he's feeling very much like he's in a difficult situation. If he speaks up, um, he pays a price. If he stays quiet, he pays a price. And he's spent a good deal of time thinking about this situation and how he wants to handle it. But things are still not clear for him. What he needs is to be fierce. He needs to have strength. He needs to face it. And I think if he does face it, that he will purge a great deal of the guilt and angst and the depression, the trauma that has come with this. And I think that he needs to take a chance. I think he really needs to take a chance. I see. Let me pull a couple more cards here. See what we've got. Um, it will empower him if he does. Yeah, Diddy wants him to keep things to himself. And he's in disagreement. He's got some battles ahead of him if he does speak up, but he's in disagreement with what Diddy wants him to do. And I understand, I worry. Like there was the young woman who was one of their key witnesses had basically gone rogue and quiet for a bit. And I'm not sure. I think she's now in the trial. I think she did finally show up, but there was a lot of worry because she had disappeared for a bit.
And there are only two prime witnesses against him, and she was
Yeah.
one of the two. I
Right.
heard this on the radio. Yeah.
And I have to say that this kind of crime means that a lot of people disappear, never to be seen again when they are strong enough to be witness to what happened.
They want to disappear. They want to go back to being anonymous.
Yep.
So they reinvent themselves, hopefully.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about unalived against their will.
There's that.
And never to be found even.
So 30
Like
years
the
later.
remains, nothing is found again. Yeah. So anyway, all right. We have been here for an hour and a half. I'm going to pop over here and see if do we have anybody watching us live? I don't think we do.
There's something I wouldn't mind discussing. Let's talk about what tarot is and what it isn't.
Hey, but how about if we do that at our next live stream?
Okay.
We've got some topics that we can cover. We have talked about wanting to do a woo-woo session.
I'd
I
love to.
did, yep, I did one for my personal woo-woo because of stuff that had happened that week. And it was just focused on that week. I had not gone, not done any of
Oh, woman. My goodness.
I'm serious when I say so I've had woo woo mega woo woo over my entire life.
I'm aware.
I know.
We had some happen in the family this week, so
Yeah,
it's a pretty big one. A pretty big one.
yeah, yeah. And so my but for all of the woo woos that I've had over my lifetime, this last year, 2 year and a half, I'd say.
As you've opened yourself up more to the spirit world, it has come to you.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. And now I'm getting nauseous. Yeah.
What did I
That is
tell you?
my
You need to work on your personal protection.
yep. And no, I mean, yes, I need to work on my boundaries, my personal
Mhm.
boundaries from spirit, but this is my tell, that nauseousness. That's my tell when I am being profoundly impacted by spirit.
Mine is
Like
on the
I
back of my
feel,
neck.
pardon?
Mine is the back of my neck.
Yeah. I'm currently feeling a
Yeah.
lot of spirit energy with me right this very moment, right in this very moment. And this morning I woke up with literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of spirits who wanted to come through and speak to me. Hello, Dreamweavers, you joy. Hi, welcome. Welcome. Thank you. I see you. Dreamweavers, joy. Are you interested? Are you a follower? Do you subscribe to our channel?
I hope so. I love her name.
I do too.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh. So,
Yay.
is there something you would like us to talk about?
Yeah. Is there something? Or just hanging out?
Either one works.
Either one works. Yep.
Oh my heavens. That's my frosty paws. He sees something.
What of my cats? My
You
little
scare your cats?
no little one is here on the table right next to the computer. She heard your dogs barking and she was like, it is entirely different than our dog. Why don't you mute for a second?
Yeah, he's not stopping. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. No problem. Hey, Dreamweaver. Well, since you're the only audience member we have, because we're still small and young and newbies to this, thank you. Um, so since you're our only guest at the live right now, would you like would you like would you like one of these? Do you have one of these?
We'll see if that keeps him quiet.
Yeah.
He figured out that he can see over the privacy fence if he sits on my bed and looks. Because I have one of the blinds up and I have flowers, some roses from Mother's Day, and I have my north facing window uncovered for them for light. And so he's happily watching people out there.
Okay, so Dreamweaver, I see you say, of course, I just got mine. Does that mean
Maybe she just got some
you have this already? You have this deck already? Yes. Okay.
Awesome.
All
See
right.
you.
It is a beautiful deck. I love this deck. I was intending to do a giveaway of this deck today for anybody present in the live stream. But if you already have the deck, I'm not sure. Are you interested? I don't want to send you a second one, but um, let me know your thoughts. So anyway, to continue on with my earlier thoughts, I've had a lot of woo-woo moments throughout my life, and this last week particularly, it's just okay. Thank you, Dreamweaver. Oh, hi.
Hi. Recently decided to hear Godzilla. I think I'd want to see the tape.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I
Okay.
understand that you have to keep it vague. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm thinking a yes. I got the shivers. I'm thinking it's a yes. I don't know
Okay.
who her is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
I can hear you.
wrong thing. Huh? I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know I was. Oh, brother. Never mind. I'm just gonna keep on verbal.
Okay.
I
So,
have a strong yes sensation for myself. I got the shivers when you asked if it was her. And that to me says, yeah, and here it is again. Yeah, I've got some yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not, that's, you need to put them to a distance. Say, here are my boundaries. If you have a problem with that, then we don't need to be speaking right now. Set your boundaries and don't speak up. Don't step outside of them. She's a, wow, she's a mother figure, maternal figure, and a fire sign, the Queen of Wands. Um, that's harder. I'm sorry to hear this is.
I have that this is somebody you've spent several lifetimes.
Dear. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's scary. Wow.
They're
I'm
not.
not sure if I'm going to pronounce your name properly. Is it Dageek? Dageek? I'm sorry to hear that you've been stalked for 2 decades. That's scary.
I think I'm
Hmm.
going to hazard a guess, but I don't. I could be barking up the wrong tree, but this feels to me like a biological parent or related
Dageek.
to a
Okay.
biological parent. And
Dageek said, Jane, did you see the chat?
Dogeek, that's how it is. Oh, just because you have a connection, life after life,
Mhm.
doesn't mean that is the true nature of your relationship. Hello, Hunters Gathering. And oh, this is so cool. We have people. We have people to this. They are here. It just feels
So,
to me that this is someone that you are not to be connected with in this life. There's a lesson here. You
yeah.
need the distance.
Dageek, I'm feeling like you need to ground, recenter yourself. You then, by doing so, get a fierce new attitude and a new beginning. Um, and I do like this, the soulmate, it is,
Stop.
I respect that you were supposed to be soulmates in this lifetime, but I also feel like You had an agreement between you when you came into this lifetime that it was not going to go. It was not going to go as intended. Um, and I do feel like, so as empaths and as light workers, and just the simple fact that you are here, that you, even if you feel like you don't have any skills and abilities, which I feel like that is your sense, but the fact of the matter is you do. Um, you're just not fully aware of them yet, or they have not fully blossomed yet, but they are very strong in you. And I can feel that from here. I get the sense that you have, like, when you have spirits that come around you, you can smell, you have certain, you'll get certain scents. Before I started the video today, I was hearing that somebody in the audience today needed to know, needed to hear peonies. And I'm wondering if that might be you. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. I get it. Anyway, so
Mm.
you, as children in who grow up in traumatic homes, you get this, you develop this ability to read other people really fast and then protect yourself from the energies coming down towards you. Um, but also you come into the world with those abilities. And empaths are, it's like there's this light in our aura, in our spirits, that draws narcissists to us. And very often I feel like we are placed in families full of narcissists. Narcissists, generally speaking, not always, I have my thoughts on this too, are wounded children. And I believe that the people we call narcissists, who are true narcissists, are children who are wounded at a very young age, and emotionally they no longer develop beyond that age of that big trauma in their life. Um, Now, I'm not
I'm
saying
glad you
like,
feel safe. I'm glad you feel safe. We want to be a safe place to talk about these things.
yeah,
Sorry
thank
to
you.
interrupt.
No, that's okay. The Geek, I'm really glad to hear that you're feeling safe here, especially. Um, anyway, so like when I think about the felon in the White House, I see his wounded child. When I think about Fleon, when I connect with 45's energy, yeah, um, yeah, I get that. Boy, do
Okay.
I get that.
It explains them. It does not excuse them.
Oh, no, no, I didn't give them an
Okay.
excuse.
Okay.
I did not, because as an adult, you're responsible for who you are. 100%. When I connect with 45's energy, I see his wounded child, and he was wounded at a really young age, 2, 3. That's when major trauma occurred to him. When I connect with Fleon's energy, I get this sense of lizard,
Lizard
reptile,
people,
reptile energy.
the lizard people, aliens. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That just,
No,
that's it.
but and that could very, very well be. Who knows? He could easily be an alien being
I think,
in a human skin form.
I think that Felon 45 was put here to overcome this trauma and he has failed. He has instead given into it.
And it's not his first time of trying.
Right.
This is like his fourth lifetime of trying, and failed every single time. I think he's going to get one more chance at it. But anyway, back to the geek. Sorry, we do this. We're a little,
Honest, yeah, we're going back and forth. My best,
we should get a gif of a squirrel running through.
yeah, you have to create your own safe space. And to do that, you need to practice shielding. And that's get your feet on the ground. I mean, if possible, on dirt. I don't know if you live in the city. I don't know if you live in the country. Even if you can get to a park, and take your shoes, your sandals, whatever, take them off. Put your feet on Mother Earth and just practice feeling her energy. Hi, Sam. Uh, okay. And practice feeling her energy and practice pulling that energy up through the bottoms of your feet and just keep breathing her in and breathing her out and breathing her in and breathing her out. That is your first step to creating strong shields, because Mother Earth can lend you her energy to reinforce you at any time, even if you're not in direct contact. But it takes some practice. Once you get it, oh, you'll get it. And we'll do a talk on shields. I think that would be a great thing to do, like a 30-minute talk on how to pull up the energy and create your own safe space and how to mentally shield yourself. I'm sorry. Squirrel, yes. And yes, protection is very important. We're working on so many levels in our society where we're hurting. And there are some people trying to help us, and there's Felon 45 who doesn't care. Cruelty is his mission, and we need to protect ourselves from that. And then there's the everyday cruelty that we encounter, but there's also some beauty that we encounter every day. So we need to strike the balance to being open to that and yet keep ourselves protected. So I think we should schedule a talk on shields, Lynn. What do you think? You're reading, aren't you? It's hard to keep up. I'm excited to see you guys.
No, I'm blocking somebody.
I think it is normal. At least it has been for me my whole life.
Yeah.
It's I've been seeing energy since I was a little girl. I'm 64. I'm very honest about my age. I earned every moment of it. And back in the 70s, I used to crack my family up because I'd say, phone's going to ring, Dad. It'll be for you. Phone would ring. It'd be for Dad. And there used to be a TV show called Nanny and the Professor. And Nanny was the psychic, and she'll say, I get it, Professor. And the phone hadn't rang. And I was copying her. I thought she was cool. So I was doing it, unconsciously doing the same thing. And it stuck, you know.
Hey.
Yeah.
I always knew when Aunt Betty was going to call.
Yep. And it wouldn't just be that. It'd be Mom's Card Club members or friends or Dad's coworkers or sales call. You know, it's like, I know who it is.
Yeah.
And I have continued to do that most of my life, though I did take a step or two to block quite a bit of it because it got overwhelming, especially after I had children.
Yeah.
I was too open at that point. But yeah, I think it is honestly very normal. And it's scheduled video.
Dreamweaver, I see your
Cool.
comment, and yeah, we'll definitely put that on the agenda.
And I like that idea to schedule what we're going to talk about. So people know that, hey, we're going to have an open chat about this topic or that topic. We don't need to have a long live stream to do that. And maybe that would serve our audience better. Whatever works. We can do both.
Yeah.
I don't care. I can talk nonstop 4 days. Energizer bunny. Or Energizer squirrel.
You know, it's not talking, it's keeping the thought process on the same path.
Oh, that's so sad.
Okay. And speaking of, I'd love to
Anytime.
hop back to the thought that I had as we
Which
we
one?
kind of digressed to the squirrels. Because we followed them. But so for me, this last 2 weeks particularly have been really powerful in terms of
You are welcome.
it's like my it's just exponentially increased. And this morning when I woke up, I had somewhere between 100 and 1,000 spirits that wanted to come through and talk through me today. Somebody needs to hear, whether it's an audience member today or the future, somebody needs to hear pink peonies as their gift from their person, their spirit that wants to contact them. Somebody else has a brother who passed away, and that brother's body will be found. It's going to be, sorry, get nauseous. 3 to 5 years before the body is found. The spirit is most certainly in heaven, and it is in what we call heaven. It is on the spirit side. I don't believe that there is any such thing as hell. It is earth. It
Agreed.
is other universes. It is spirit side. So you're either incarnated into a physical form or you're in spirit, one or the other.
It's
Um,
energy. And, physics tell us that energy is never lost. It only changes shapes, it forms. And the quantum level holds many secrets still. But what is it? Something like 11 dimensions that are mathematically proven and 3 more theorized, or is it a total 11? Something. This is a husky mix dog being dramatic.
No.
They have a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Diggy,
Yes.
I am
You are fine.
a medical intuitive, if you will. I can see people's pain.
It's okay. You should see him. He looks like he's being beaten.
Poor,
He's just
poor,
okay.
poor, pathetic puppy. Is that what you have? Yeah. So I get it. So anyway, you might need to mute, ma'am.
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, so today I woke up with hundreds of people, hundreds of spirits wanting to come through. I don't have time or space to let all of their messages come through, but those two really stood out to me. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I got a reading from Jenny, the Celebrity Tarot is her channel. And before that morning, I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth, and I got a full movie within a nanosecond of her past lives. So, it's those are the kinds of things that are happening with me right now. That doesn't even begin to start to talk about all the woo-woo that has happened across my life. So, oh wow, the geek, that's wow. Wow. Fascinating. Yes, exactly. This is a boundary thing, the geek. If you feel like you can never truly rest, that is a boundary thing.
Yeah.
I do want to come back to your discussion about the narcissistic entities in your life. When they do it because they get your energy, it's like psychic vampires.
Exactly.
And if you do psychic self-protection, and if you stop reacting to them, you will have a significantly better they'll it's like they fall away when they realize they can no longer get your energy. It's like with 45, the felon in the White House. He goes and he creates all the chaos to keep all the people racing around and reacting to all the
It's thunderous
negativity.
today. I'm sorry. Our weather, we suddenly have a thunderstorm popping up.
That's fine. Anyway, so 45 is doing all of this chaos and chaos and chaos and chaos, and it's to keep everybody up in arms because he's feeding off of that energy. He feeds off that fear. It's one of the few places in life that he experiences what I call joy. Not that he knows what real joy is, but that's one of the few ways that he gets that high. And
And that's
um,
exactly what it is a high. And that's what the vampires want. It's not blood they suck, it's energy.
yeah.
So
And
by
then
creating those shields, you just have to be aware at first when they're not getting their way, they're going to throw epic tantrums.
Yep.
And be
But
prepared.
the other part with 45 and many people like him is that as they're creating all of this chaos, what they're doing is they're creating something over here for your attention to be drawn to while they're over here doing something they don't want you to know about. It isn't this that you should be paying attention to. It's this, because this is the one that's really going to be damaging.
That's why
So
we've always said amongst our group, watch what they're doing, not what they're
what they're
saying.
saying. Yeah. Dreamweaver put a great post in the chat.
Yes.
It drives the
Yes.
psychic vampires crazy to where they just
Yes.
start running in circles. Yeah, it's like
There,
they're
there is
yeah,
a really old tacky joke we used to tell. I'm old. Um, and it would be, these are mommy jokes. Mommy, mommy, why am I running in circles? Shut up, kid, or I'll nail your other foot to the floor. That is exactly the type of energy these psychic vamps thrive on, the
yeah,
chaos they bring. And they quite literally will freak out, jump up and down, scream, and throw things.
yeah,
Some of them can be very dangerous. You just need to know what type you're dealing with and what lengths they're going. Yes. Um, what lengths they're willing to go to. And again, keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on what they're doing, and just be calm within your center, within your circle of your energy, in your
right,
shield. Drive them crazy. Drive
right.
them absolutely crazy, but they can't get to you. No matter what they do, they cannot get to you that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh wow, that's a thought. There's a worldwide belief. Hello, my porch light's on. There is a worldwide belief that that is drawing close to us. I don't know if it is within our lifetime because the scale of time that more evolved life forms and entities exist on are not necessarily ones we understand. So
Yeah.
that is interesting.
So the geek, you talked about being very tired and that you're never free from all of the incoming energy. And frankly, right now, I'm struggling with that a little bit myself. I'm struggling to sleep. Part of that has been because of menopause, but this last few months, it's been because they're not letting me rest. And so I need to find my own psychic protection. I have those tools. I've just not put them in place, if you will. I watch a number of other psychics on here on YouTube, and
Yep.
some of them talk about wearing a specific piece of jewelry that says, if I have this piece of jewelry on, you can come through me and I will do your work. But if I don't have that piece of jewelry on, you need to respect my boundaries. I've seen,
That would be like
uh,
a portable doorway or
right.
window that they can talk to you through.
Yep.
That's an interesting
Um,
idea. But my shaking finger was about you and your shields. We've talked about this, that you needed to work on that a little more again.
yep. Yep. Another person that I watched said that I cannot imagine this. Thankfully, I don't have this. And if you do it to me, I'm going to be really mad. she gets woken up at night with people standing at the end of her bed staring at her sleeping. That would freak me out. Again, if you do that to me, I'm going to be really, really
That
mad.
happened to me when I was a kid all the time. And I screamed the house down on more than one occasion. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
why,
yeah.
as I got older, this is why I say my shields are pretty darn strong. I had to learn to block out everything in order to function.
Yeah. My
And
husband's shields are really strong too. I did one of the videos that I posted the other day. Actually it was my woo-woo video. And
I love it when you say woo woo.
um I talked about how when he was a child, his dad asked him to go downstairs to the basement, to the cellar, and get a bottle of wine. And when he was down there, he would hear a spirit going at him. And
Ah,
just
screaming?
that,
The breath sounds?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
freaked
Her
him out.
husband is from Italy. So a kid getting wine out of their cellar in Italy is very normal. So
Yeah.
a little different
Um,
culture.
I didn't say it was for him to drink. It was for
No,
dad, right?
just
Anyway, so
sorry.
the the it freaked him out. It freaked him out, and rightfully so. So he really shut down, and so we've been working on his abilities to open them back up. But there are things that are happening for him that he doesn't recognize as spiritual gifts. When somebody is visiting, a spirit is visiting, he'll smell them. He smells cigarettes. In
Did his father
2016, we
smoke?
traveled. Pardon?
Did his father smoke? Did his father smoke?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, no, he did not.
I'm older
Um,
than you are.
anyway, in 2016, he and I went to Italy, to Italy and Germany for a trip, and we went to
Yep.
Dachau because I knew as a child hearing about it that I needed to go see that. And I knew walking in that it had completely changed from when I had been there. And for him walking in, he started feeling something tickling his head,
Oh my.
tickling his head. And that lasted for him the entire time we were there until we crossed the gate to leave the camp.
For me, I have not been to Europe. I have not been to any of those museums. I was at the Acta Lakota um, Nations History Museum in South Dakota.
Mhm.
And from the moment I walked in to the second I walked out, I cried the whole time. All I could see was the destruction of culture.
Yeah.
Display after display was loss after loss. And it felt like I was being held in place, that I could not leave until I absorbed the entirety of that loss. And it profoundly affected me.
Yeah.
It's what it
I want to
is.
read Dreamweaver's Joy comment.
Please.
Ditto, however, those of us who are light workers of one form or another are all being bombarded with self-healing and downloads right now, like we are being fast-tracked for some reason. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That is an understatement. Yeah. And then the geek, you
Yes.
said you could feel the physical, emotional trauma from the location. Yes. And for me, it doesn't matter whether it's physical or emotional, it's all combined.
Yeah.
I see the trauma of poverty, I see the trauma of homelessness, I see and feel all of that trauma, like just those simple, you know what? I shouldn't say simple because it's never simple. Sorry, I used the wrong word there. But what people who have not experienced that don't understand the depth and breadth of those how those situations, those life situations are incredibly traumatic. So, and to Dreamweaver's joy comment,
I love that.
yes, I completely agree. I do feel like we are being fast tracked, and that tells me something big is coming.
I just hope
I've
it's something good, something big that it
well, yeah, I
sparks
mean,
a new birth.
I hear from a lot of other psychics that we are going to be moving from 3D to 5D, which means recognizing, being able to see people's auras without effort, being able to communicate telepathically, being able, just that
We're
level
all
up.
capable of that. We are all capable of it. It's
Right.
just, do we exercise that muscle enough? These are my boys back here, by the way, Frosty and Sushi.
Hmm.
They came in to say hello and goodbye because we are unfortunately at our 5 o'clock mark. And I know that doesn't mean much to you,
But
but
it does
I'm
to
going
the
to have to.
animals.
I'm going to have to step away because my back
Yeah.
is hurting.
Yeah.
I have a broken spine, so it's such a joyful thing,
Yeah. It's time.
and it's time
And
for
we've
me
been
to
on
step.
for a little over 2 hours, and of course we practiced before that. So, the
Holy cow!
geek.
And we're getting really hit with hail. Oh
Oh,
my, we're getting hit
okay.
hard. So I'm going to have to get
Yep.
offline right now.
Okay.
I'm so glad to have talked to you all, and we'll talk
Yes.
about scheduling. Bye bye.
The geek. If you could stay with me, I'm still here. Um, Dreamweaver, I know you had mentioned to save this for somebody else. The geek, are you the only one who's here? Is there anybody else? Let me go look over here. This might be not showing me a thing. Alrighty, fine. Oh gosh, no, it's not your energy. No, you're fine. She has she broke her back. She has profoundly bad osteoporosis after cancer treatment. The cancer treatment, oh God. The cancer treatment leached all the calcium out of her spine and other areas. And so 2 years ago, she ended up having 6 fractures in her pelvic. And this year, she um, ended up breaking, I don't know, two or three, four of her vertebrae. So she's still in the recovery period from that. So please do not feel like your energy is staggering because you're not, you're fine. Okay. You are fine. And I don't know that I have the right words to reassure you, but I'm going to say this to you from what I say at the end of almost every video I do, and that is that you are magical and you are made of stardust. You are far more powerful than you realize, and you're profoundly loved. And I say that because you need to hear it. And so does everybody else in our audience. They need to hear this. We live in a world where love is withheld as a punishment, but the reality is that spirit loves us. We are profoundly loved, and even when somebody tells you that you are not enough for them or you're too much for them, that is not your tribe. They are not your people. The people who are your tribe get it, and they don't want to change you. It wasn't your parents who engineered you. Your parents gave you their genetic, it's just the DNA that you got from your parents. So at the start of this live stream, earlier, I think before you got here, I talked about being in my 20s and having the conversation with Jane that I'm going to convey now. And that is, I knew then that we choose the life that we step into. We choose our parents. We choose the main lessons that we are to learn. It's all laid out before us. We choose our family. Um, we've made those choices. So it's like you're looking for answers, but I feel like you're looking for those answers in the wrong place. Those answers are within you in terms of what, like I'm not saying this well, and I'm sorry. You are not broken. You're not even cracked. You have got tree bark for a surface, and your internal tree is amazing and strong. So please don't think that about yourself. Um, so let me get back to where I was. 'Cause now I've forgotten, because that's how my brain works. Instead of looking outside of yourself of why is this all happening to me, I want you to lift up and look at the whole thing from a distance. What was I supposed to learn? What is the positivity that came from that? Because of out of every single hard thing I have endured, something good has come out of it. I can point to that throughout my life. I can point to that in our country. Some of the most horrific things that have occurred to the people in our country and around the world, something better, something improved comes from it. And what lessons did those events teach you? How did your life not necessarily improve from it, but what did you learn about yourself from it? There's just, I feel like this is a big path of exploration for you. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Dreamweaver, I'm so sorry. Thank you. She appreciates that. She appreciates that. The geek, shed and rebuild and shed and rebuild and shed. It's like a tree of budding anew and then being full bloom in the summer and then dropping the leaves in the winter and then starting that cycle over and over and over again. That's what life feels like, especially your life feels like. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree. Ooh, that's a good point. What Dreamweaver just said in the chat is the geek, you may have been sent to them to give them an option to learn and heal. If they chose not to, that's their fail, not yours. Right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. I have been, oh, okay. Yeah. Dreamweaver, that's a great point. A very good point. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I've been on the computer for 2 hours and almost 15 minutes. And Jane and I were together earlier to practice. So I've been here most of the day. And I think it is time to say thank you and to end this. The geek, are you interested? I don't know. Is it just a geek? I can't tell. I'm using StreamYard. And I can't tell if it's just Dreamweaver and the geek that are here. If there's anybody else here, yeah, the live will go back to YouTube. The Geek, are you interested in Trish James Oracle's deck? Ooh, 4 people. All right. So here's the thing. If you are a subscriber, and you do have to be a subscriber to the channel, I want you to post in the chat if you're maybe I can get this open. If you are interested in a deck of the Trish James Oracle's cards. And I was just using these a little bit ago, and I have an unboxing video. Yeah, same Dreamweaver. I'm only seeing 2 as well. But these are the cards. And if you're interested in let me know, because I will send them to you. I ordered a deck and I got the wrong one. Hi, Zena. Yes, you can ask. You do need to be a subscriber. Are you a subscriber? Awesome. So, did you just join the live? I guess I. Hmm. Okay, got it. So, this deck, I ordered a deck and got the wrong one, and Trish sent me a second deck that I could give away for free. And so this is the one that I can give away for free. So if you are interested, put a raised hand in the chat. It does mean that I'm going to need your real name and address or PO box to send them to. And that will be between you and me. And it will be kept private. So give me a raised hand if you are interested. Vina, are you, I guess I'm not clear. You said hello, can everybody ask? Are you asking about the giveaway on the cards, or are you wanting to ask a question? I'm not sure where you're at on that one. I'm not the Geek, thank you. I understand. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that this has been helpful for you. There is a really incredible community um, here on YouTube. So, you said earlier, and I caught it, but didn't have a chance to look at it then, that you have always felt like you are an outsider. And I think almost everybody I know with these gifts has felt that way their entire lives. And it takes a while to find your people. Zena, if you have a question, I'm willing to stay on a little bit longer and answer your question. Sure, you can ask a question, of course. I'm going to take a quick drink of my lemonade, though. Anyway, to geek, there's an incredible community of people who are psychics and energy workers and all the things here on YouTube. Zena, as I read your question, what I instantly got was no. But I will check the cards and let me take a look. And what I'm also feeling is that even if I feel like there's somebody that will treat you far better who is worthy of you. And please note how I said that. Worthy of you. If you're chasing after somebody who doesn't want you, you're trying to make yourself worthy of them. And the reality is that you probably never will be. And if they ever do decide that you're worthy of them, it means you're going to change who you are and lose your sense of yourself. The geek, that just gave me chills. That is one of the highest, kindest compliments I think I have ever gotten in my life. Thank you. Wow, that took me up. Wow. Anyway, Zena, so I feel like you're going to find the right person for you. I don't believe this person is it. I don't. And I think that is to your ultimate benefit that this is a no. And I don't know why these cards are out, but let me take a look. Stepping stones. Yeah. Okay. This is somebody who's using you until somebody better comes along. And I suggest that if you are with them, to get out, do not wait, move, change your digs, change your space. See if there's any other messages. Yep, move forward. There you go, ma'am. I think you're ma'am. Sorry, Zena. No confusion about this. You're better off without him. You are, a lot of people that I've known over my lifetime have always been like, I'm not anything without a relationship. You're everything all by yourself. You are all right, all by yourself. When you love you profoundly, the love you deserve shows up. And it doesn't have to be in the form of somebody who is necessarily a partner. It is somebody who is there to be your yin to your yang, or yang to your yin, whichever. But wow, the geek, that's amazing. Zena, no confusion about it. Move on. Wow, you're from Turkey. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited that you're here from around the world. That is so cool. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. And on that note, I am calling this click done. Thank you, all of you, for showing up. I so appreciate it. Yep. We'll be on next time. Thanks. Take care. Bye. I almost forgot. Remember, You are made of stardust and magic. You are far more powerful than you realize, and you are profoundly loved. Okay, now I got it. See you, bye.